without further ado, I'm going to get started here, if that's okay with everybody else. So Marnie, Carolyn, Carol, Bree, Shonda, are we ready to rock this?
We are ready. We're ready to celebrate.
Ready to
All
go.
right. Let's celebrate. All right, before I get more into Cool in the Gang, let me tell you all that we're talking about digital celebrations today. It is May. We are all really trying to focus on the end in mind here to get our students through this time of challenge, but also to just have a good time and remember to celebrate life. So I will go ahead and move right on and let you know who we are. We are GCU's Canyon Professional Development, and we're really excited to have you on board today. We're Canyon PD, and that's PD with purpose. Today we are fortunate, our fearless leader, Carol Lippert, who you might have heard from before, will be leading us in prayer today. So thank you so much, Carol, for being our spiritual guide among all of the other guides that you play in our department today. I appreciate you being our prayer guide, and she will be sharing a scripture and a prayer with us later on in the day, or in the webinar, I should say. My name is Corey Araza. I'm the Director of K-12 STEM Outreach. I have 17 plus years teaching in computer systems, ESL, Spanish, and STEM integration. Happy to be here with you. We also have Marnie and Carolyn on board, our STEM and elementary experts and gurus. But before we talk to you in that sense, I'm going to introduce our esteemed colleague and guest, Brianna Negley. She is from our GCU Honors College. I'm going to let her introduce herself because she's got quite the resume and repertoire, and we are thrilled and blessed to have her with us. Bri, do you mind introducing yourself, please?
Yes, good morning and welcome everyone. I'm so excited to be joining you today. My name is Brianna Negley. I am the Associate Dean for the Honors College here at Grand Canyon University, and I also oversee all of our global studies programs, which is well over 80 different global studies options worldwide. I've been with GCU and in higher education for over 10 years, so I'm really excited to be speaking with you guys today. The Honors College hasn't been around for a full 10 years. It actually started in fall of 2013 with just 59 students, and we have since grown. We're now anticipating 2,500 students starting fall of 2020. So exponential growth, a lot of curricular and co-curricular growth, and so I'm really excited to chat with you guys a little bit today about our honors community and what we're doing to celebrate our honors graduates and our honors students throughout the year.
Wow. Did you hear that? 59 to 2,500? Holy gazzoli. That's Brianna, you have been busy in the last few years, needless to say. Not to mention, folks, she's also the mother of two amazingly adorable children that we got to see on a Zoom call, when we prepped for this. So Brianna, wow, you do it all and you make it look good at the same time. So thank you for being here. We are excited to hear what you have to tell us about how you completed some amazing digital celebrations. And our next esteemed guest and expert happens to work in our department. We are thrilled to have her as an expert today because, people, you know who I am. I wouldn't be here without Shonda. She keeps me in line as much as that's possible, but she organizes our entire department. So Shonda Hinton, would you mind introducing yourself?
Sure, no problem, Corey. Thank you. Good morning, everybody. My name is Shonda Hinton, and I'm a coordinator in our department, as Corey said. I'm actually here every week, same as most of you, but my work is in the background, so that's why you haven't actually seen me. My role in the department actually translates very well to my life. I love to organize. I love to plan events. I love to get everyone together and just celebrate. So being in this department has really taken my celebrations up a notch because I've learned a lot of new tricks, as I did not expect, but I should have. As working around educators, you're bound to learn something. And I've learned a lot. So I was able to continue and organize my celebrations in the digital world thanks to some of these new tricks. And I'm eager to share with you a couple of them. So thank you.
Thank you, Shonda. And she has some amazing tricks for you today, tricks that I had never thought about myself. So thank you, Shonda, for being a part of our journey. And speaking of our journey, we are K-12 Outreach and Support, and we are here every week to empower, educate, and inspire our community so that they take action to fulfill their purpose and to serve others. So I hope that today's inspiration, today's message will inspire you to reach out and share with a colleague and empower your students to celebrate themselves. As we move on, I'm going to turn the time over to Marnie. Will you tell us a little bit about the Toolbox?
Yes, so if you've been attending our weekly webinars, you know that we share a lot of tools that are ready to go for you to use tomorrow in your classroom or later this afternoon. So because we introduce so many tools, we need a tool master, someone just to keep track of them. Just a list of all of the tools that we're going to introduce. So I'm going to make a big ask right now. I need one of our guests that has joined our meeting to volunteer and to be our tool master. And what will happen is at the end of the presentation, you'll see the toolbox again. I'll call you out and I'll say, hey, tool master, can you just pop that list into the chat box? So who's gonna step up today to be our tool master?
And the fun part about being the tool master today is that you get all your digital celebration organization out of the way. You've got it forever. Okay. I think Lachelle is talking about her sound, but I don't know, Lachelle, when you put a chat in there, it sounds like you want to be the tool master. So Lachelle Alford, are you interested in being our tool master today? Is that a yes? Is that a yes?
Wait a minute.
Like, oh,
I'm sorry, I missed it.
Well, that's just not fair.
That wouldn't be totally fair, but we'd love for you to think about it, Lachelle. That would be awesome. If not, that's okay. We're still looking for a tool master. Is there anybody out there that's interested and willing to be our tool master today?
Not a hard job. Just write down the different items as we introduce them. And we'll honestly help you out.
Exactly. If you only remember one tool, that's all we need. Just type it in the old chat at the very end. It's not hard, as Carol just mentioned in the chat, not hard at all. We would love for you to be the tool master.
We got one.
All right. Maxie. And Lachelle, thank you for playing along with me. But Maxie, we appreciate you. Thank you so much. Yay, Maxie. She's over there at a fantastic Ed Key school. Thanks, Maxie. You are awesome. All right, well, moving right along, I'm going to ask Shonda if you wouldn't mind setting our stage for us today.
Sure. Happiness is making memories, cherishing them and celebrating life. Gift your loved ones those moments of joy, your time. And that particular quote just means a lot to me because celebrations are so important to me. They mark something of significance, whether it's a promotion or graduation or just another year of life. Like people just, deserve to be recognized and appreciated and celebrated. So I love that quote.
Thank you, Shonda. And you always have made us feel so special, myself included. And I say that because I know I'm probably the difficult child to make feel special, but you always do. So thank you so much for setting our stage for us today. And with that said, we are going to, I'm just going to share with you some of our goals and objectives for the day. We're going to understand how to celebrate online and why celebration matters. Also, we're going to learn at least 3 strategies that celebrate your online learners, including virtual symposiums, asynchronous digital ceremonies, and synchronous digital celebrations. And for those of you who are like, what are those? Why is she using those words? It just means asynchronous when we're not together right here like we are, or synchronous like we're together right here how we are. So I hope that makes sense. We're going to evaluate the webinar and then earn that PD certificate, and we'll have a closing prayer with our very own Carol Lippert. So we are jumping right into some content. Let's do this. We are going to start with a Padlet photo challenge. We have used Padlet before on our webinar, but we're going to re-look at Padlet in the sense of digital celebration. So if you wouldn't mind, go ahead and grab your device. Any device will do. I'm kind of trying to show my, there we go, there's a device. And then type in padlet.com /CoreyRaza/CPD celebration, or you can get it right out of the chat. So Marnie just added it in the chat for everybody. So just click on that. You should be able to go. So I'm going to just do that myself so that you have a minute to get there so that I know I'm not too far advanced. I'm definitely not too far advanced, but sometimes it takes me just a little while to get to where I am. Hey, and I'm there. So if you are there, I hope that you join us because you should see something that looks a little like this. And today I want to really challenge you to a photo challenge. So we've used Padlet before in a text method. This is a different look to a Padlet board. It is a column or category Padlet. This is the shelf Padlet, I believe. And so you're welcome to utilize this type of Padlet for your digital celebrations. Luckily, Brianna's going to tell us a little bit about how she used Padlet in her digital celebration. So I have some ideas here, or some topics. We have creative ideas for digital celebrations. Give us those creative ideas. I see them coming in already. I also have most important items to have on hand during or after a celebration. Keep it clean, folks. Keep it clean. No, honestly, what is more important for you? You know, I might have to have one of these for a digital celebration. And then also the photo challenge, right? So post a photo of someone or something you recently celebrated. If you are ambitious enough, you know, to share with us some photos. And I'm going to go through, oh, look at that. We've got a great photo here that kind of expresses it looks like a student working on a project here, and that is fantastic. What's neat is that you can see that the original posts are moving down, so new posts take precedence. And I did that in Padlet. And while you guys are doing that, I'm going to show you a little bit of the behind the scenes in Padlet, because you're seeing the teacher board. So if I look at my settings, for example, you can kind of see this over here on the right-hand side of my screen. I've added my title. I have my what's important. I added an icon here, so you can add any sort of emoji icon. And I just went into the celebration icons and added a celebration icon, and that pops up right over here in this side. I can also change my Padlet address, so it doesn't have to be a bunch of garbly goop. You can call it CPD celebration. That's what I called it today. I changed my wallpaper and my color scheme. So the wallpaper actually has some ideas for you know, celebrations. Also, you can see down here, this is what I was referring to earlier, this new post position. So where did new posts appear, first or last? If you put that on first, then your new posts appear first. Oh, somebody's celebrating with a bicycle ride. I'm a big bicycle rider, so I love that. Can't wait to know a little bit more about that. Feel free to add a comment to our Padlet board so that we know a little bit about what you are celebrating over there. That's exciting. I also have the comments enabled for this board, because I'd love for you to make a comment. If you have, for example, your comments enabled, your parents can put their comments down like, oh, way to go, graduate, you know, that sort of thing. Gosh, Marnie, you're the best. So excited to see you online. You know, those types of things. You can keep those comments going. You could also have a reaction. So think about in a challenge or a digital celebration, you could vote, like, which is the favorite photo here. If I change this to vote, you'll see that the people who vote for it the most, it'll move up the board, which is kind of exciting. But think about that. If you want equity, you might not want to have the vote. You also have the star. You can give it 1 to 5 stars. So like if you're recreating the red carpet and, you know, whose dress was the best. But again, that's a different concept, right? You can also grade it. So these are really fun. I just had a like, so you can give it a like. Marnie's over there, I bet, liking a few of those photos, especially that one with her in the hat that I posted without her permission. Remember to get permission to post before you do that. And I think Brianna might talk about that as she talks about it. Also, you've got that require approval as well as filter profanity. So I did filter profanity, not to say that you guys were going to say anything inappropriate, but you know, I'm on Zoom. You never know if somebody jumps in, you don't know who they are, and you want to filter that profanity. So look at those options in Padlet. So, and just to look at Padlet a little differently. So that's kind of one exciting piece. You can also remake this board. If you're excited about this board, feel free to remake it. And then you have some other options over here as far as inviting people, changing the format. You can clear all your posts, you can archive your Padlet, etc. And there is a tip of the day on Padlet. I'm sure that Amanda or someone behind the scenes will add that. Marnie, Carolyn, what do you guys think of all these amazing photo challenges? They took me up on the challenge. My husband in 2003. Check it out. Love it.
I love it.
Oh, these are great. What do you guys think of these, huh?
They are wonderful. So many different ideas, different celebrations.
Party food. We've got this birthday cake. Oh, that's so neat. Celebrating Mother's Day. Oh, that's wonderful.
Nice.
Happy grads over here. Digital Spirit Week. Learned about Digital Spirit Week last week right here at the GCU webinar. So we are implementing it next week. Wow, so cool. Thanks, you guys. Distance learning at PCS. We are so excited to share that. And look at that. Oh, the places we'll go. That's one of my favorite books at graduation. Oh, look at this. And just honestly, that brings back a memory, right? Here you go. You post these beautiful flowers and you get to enjoy them one more time. I don't know. Marnie, Carolyn, Bree, Shauna, do you have any comments on these awesome posts that we're getting from our participants?
Well, it's just really awesome to see. I do have a question. Is there, once you get all your memories on there, if you don't want anybody to change them, is there a way to keep the board but lock it so nobody else can?
Super great comment. And yes, there is. And I know that Brianna's going to be talking about how important that is as well. So I'm going to let her take that sunshine there. But at the same, but yes, you can hold on to it and block the board so that not everybody can join. However, if you go with the free version, there's less security. So again, we always go back to that freemium, but I have a feeling that Brianna's going to share a little bit more about that as we move along. Look at this, daughter's first high school homecoming dance with first boyfriend. Oh, how cool is that? And the husband here celebrating 42 years of friendship. Oh my goodness. You guys are amazing. A 10,000 foot elevation. I mean, that's just, you know, what I love about this is just the progress. We're showing progress. We don't have to show, you know, we conquered every mountain. This is what I think is really important, is to show progress. This is the kind of progress my husband would really like. So I'm just saying thank you for that. That's his deal. That's some celebration right there. A cat birthday. These are just awesome. So this is just another way to use Padlet. Clearly you all are using it very well. Isn't this great? You know, I think in my opinion, to see our families celebrating and our whole class community is really powerful. Geez, thank you everybody for sharing. If you want more information about this, we do have a tip of the day at our YouTube channel. And Marty, Carolyn, Shonda, Bree, anybody else have something to say before I move on?
I do actually. I just noticed in that Mother's Day photo that you were highlighting, it's actually digital as well. I see they're holding, it looks like an iPad with someone that's not in the photo. The one that you were just at, the family photo.
Sorry. Oh,
yeah.
Wow, look at that. Oh, thank you, Shonda. Look at this right here. This person was not able to be here, I imagine. And so there she is right there. I think she's a she. Please help me out, sir. All right. Very, you know what? And that's, Shonda, you make a really good point. So we don't always have to be together to know that we're thinking about each other. Awesome. Very, very cool. Thank you so much. Thanks for playing, you guys. That's Padlet. That's my photo challenge, but also Padlet for celebration. So with that said, Carolyn?
Perfect. So this leads us right into our first takeaway. So Corey, I am so excited. I've used Padlet multiple times in the past, and I just had never thought of using it for this purpose. I can't wait to give this a try. I think this is wonderful during this time we're in right now, but this is something that we could use, gosh, even when we are able to have celebrations in person, maybe relatives who are out of town, something like that. So excited. So with that, as we go through and we hear all the wonderful things that our experts have to share, I want you to be thinking about, what is your takeaway? If you had to walk away today and share one thing you've learned with somebody else, what would that one thing be? Right now, I know I've learned one really wonderful thing, and that's using Padlet for virtual celebrations. So as we move on, keep thinking, what are your takeaways from today's session?
And Maxie, that's a good little hint she just gave you for the old Toolmaster. Love it. Thank you, Carolyn. Appreciate that. And we are, and guess what? Marnie has already put in a Padlet takeaway. So, or a takeaway, she put the takeaway template in there so you can go ahead and write that down. But she also put a Padlet quick guide in the chat. So go ahead and grab that as well. So just FYI there. So here we are diving right in. Brianna, we're excited to hear from you. Before we do, I want to bring everyone's attention back to that theory that we talk about, our educational theory. We have talked about relationships and relevance lead to academic rigor. Without those relationships and making people feel special, it's really challenging for them to trust you and want to give you their best in academia and other areas. So as we really think about our celebrations, let's think about relationships and relevance, and think about that word equity that keeps coming through as we highlight that emotion of love and celebration. So here we are, GCU Honors College. Brianna Negley is going to tell us a little bit about how she really rocked the world of her students. And I think they probably rocked the world right back with her. Bree, if you would mind, just hop right in and tell us about Honors College and how you celebrated with them this year.
Yeah, so the Honors College, as I mentioned previously, has been around at GCU since fall of 2013. And we started as this small niche group of 59 students, very, very small, and very quickly grew. So this last academic year, we had over 2,200 students within the Honors College majoring in over 200 different undergraduate degree programs. So a wide diversity, wide range of students involved. And this next year, like I mentioned, we'll be anticipating about 2,500 students. And we make up about 10% of the university's total ground student population. And with us, that community is so important. And as you can imagine, one thing people are continually asking us is, you know, you went from 59 to 2,200. How do you maintain that sense of community, that sense of relational mentorship, and how do you give to those students so that they all feel like they're part of this small community, because 2,200 is not so small anymore. So it's always been a big priority for us to make sure that we wrap our arms around these students and we give them not only the academic and the curricular experience, but really making sure they have that social experience. They have an opportunity to build relationships, network with peers outside of their comfort zone, meet students in different degree programs, disciplines. The one thing we always tell them from day one is get comfortable with being uncomfortable. We want them to step out of their comfort zone and join new friend groups, join new clubs, go to the speaker that may or may not feel like it's a relevant topic, but go and check it out anyways. That's really kind of a huge theme for our program. So as you can imagine, when COVID-19 hit, our students were just a few days away from spring break, and you know, with 2-3 days prior, they got the notice that we were going to have to transition to the online environment for the rest of the semester. And for a group of students that is so relational and so interconnected and really enjoys that face-to-face camaraderie, this was really quite the adjustment. So they went away for a week of spring break. They finished their last 4.5 weeks from a traditional remote setting. And many of these students felt, as I'm sure your students felt, a huge sense of loss. You know, they lost that community, they lost their physical environment, they lost the community that they were so tied to, weren't quite ready to go home full time and start that sense of summer. And so we really wanted to focus on our students and wrapping up the school year strong. We wanted to say it's not just the academics that you're going to transition online for the next 4.5 weeks. We want you to know that we're going to take the social aspect with it. So we tried to transition all of our remaining events into kind of an online or virtual experience so that they felt like they were still connected to a central community base throughout their time. So I'm going to talk about those two pieces next.
You know, Bree, my daughter who came home from college as well, she was so bummed out. I mean, and she still is. So I really appreciate that you tried to keep them really the camaraderie going. And I'm really thrilled to, I'm just curious as to how you did that. So I'm going to just stop talking and let you go on here.
So with the time we have today, I'm going to talk about 2 specific experiences. Now with our honor students, and for any of you guys that are working with AP, honors, there's always those big capstone projects. There's the end of the year where you really kind of showcase the culmination of a year's hard work. And for some of our college students, this is 2, 3, 4 years in the works, building up to a final capstone event where they can display this. For many students, they're looking at medical and graduate school opportunities, and they need to build up their CV with presentation experience, conference attendance experience. And so at the end of every spring, we do the CSET Research Symposium and Honor Showcase. This is a collaboration between our College of Science, Engineering, and Technology and the Honors College. So together, we put out anywhere from 60 to 80 student poster presentations. We have 4 lecture halls running simultaneously for 2 hours of oral presentations. We open it up to not only the entire GCU community, but to prospective students, the community college students, administrators, family, and friends. And it's a great opportunity for students to get that academic conference experience, both as a speaker and an attendee. Now, when we went through this COVID-19 shift, I charged our student leaders and our students to say, look, we need to shift our mindset here. It's not what we can't do anymore, it's what we can do. And at this point, we really started to look at what platforms we could use to bring an academic conference to a virtual platform. And like Corey had mentioned, Padlet was a great free resource that we could pull together in a very short amount of time. You can see a quick screenshot there. We still had over 60 poster presentations uploaded into this platform. And although the print is minuscule right now, you can click into each of those posters, enlarge it, and get that full experience. We also had columns of oral presentations. So students did recordings of their presentations from home. They had teams get together through different platforms like Zoom, Loom, and all those fun platforms to be able to pre-record a presentation so that way they got the oral presentation experience. And we also were able to integrate some virtual tours. So for prospective students who were wanting to check out the engineering labs, what we do for business students, they were able to get that virtual tour as if they were visiting on campus that day. So we customized the experience to not only support the current student and that population, but also our GCU community, prospective students, and beyond. So we're excited with how this turned out. We had a great show rate from our students. We had this event live for 3 days in April, and as Corey mentioned, we did use a privacy setting. So this link isn't currently live. We opened it just for the 3-day window, and we did that because we wanted students, faculty, and our community to know that those were the 3 days they needed to get in, view posters, and use the engagement features. So whether they were liking, commenting, sharing the information, we wanted to make sure, students weren't expected to go in there for 30 days and kind of check and see what questions they were getting, but to really focus 3 days of time, attention, energy into engaging with students, faculty, answering questions, and there was some pretty good engagement overall. We were able to turn this around in about a 2.5-week time frame, and then we were able to get students commitment. These 3 days actually took place after finals week. So we were able to hang on to them and get them to come in and participate even after the close of the semester. But this was a great way to honor their work, what they've done. It gave them an opportunity to still add this experience to the CV and resume, post-grad applications, and really just have an opportunity to celebrate their work.
Bree, as a question for the Padlet, for example, I'm seeing in computer science software development, the cloud computing with Raspberry Pis. Is there a link, like, for example, if this student had, created a link to his work or her work, then maybe he could use this, or she could use this as a job opportunity. Is that something that they did as well, or did you hear about that?
Not all students did that, but there were some who did link to larger portfolios. So sometimes the poster was more of a snapshot, but you had to click a link to get to a full video or a video demonstration. Some of the oral presentations, for example, they were able to do demonstrations through video, so that way you can see all in Padlet and not have to rely on other links to get the information. Some students uploaded their presentations to YouTube, so they're still there and stored for you to be able to see those now.
That's just awesome. It's just really forward thinking. And folks, I also heard that she said she held on to them after they graduated. Is that even a possibility? Well, tell us more about how you did that.
It was tough. No, it really wasn't that tough, because for our students, when you spend so much time working on a project, and especially for our seniors, this is the culmination of 1, 2, 3, even 4 years worth of work. So get to the end of your senior year and feel like you just didn't have a way to showcase that. It's kind of like, what was all that work for? Like there was no finale or sense of closure to all that work that had been invested. And so using Padlet was a way for us to say, look, there are people that still care. Our faculty want to see your work. Your parents, your family want to see your work. Our GCU community cares. And it was just another way for them to feel like there was closure to the year's work. And hopefully that'll keep them motivated to continue growing that work in the future.
Great. And now YouTube Banquet?
Yes. So, Padlet was all about the academic side. YouTube is where we went to really cap off the year with an end of year celebration. Each spring we do an annual banquet. So it's a celebratory event where we give out awards, everything from academic excellence, servant leadership, distinguished achievement, and so on. And this is a huge event. We typically have 400 or 500 attendees in the arena, and it's a big formal event. And we have students work all year long to put on and execute this event. So once again, I charged this team. They were devastated when they realized these in-person events weren't going to take place. And I told them the same thing. It's not what you can't do, it's what you can. I'm like, if you want this event, you want this experience, like, we will figure it out. And so we got together. This was 100% student-led. They took the same script that we had planned for the in-person event, but they had to go digital. So we had a team of videographers and digital designers put together slides, screenshots, photo montages, video montages. We had different speakers pre-film their portion and send that in. We compiled it all into one, and we advertised a viewing party across the country. So when we typically have those 400 or 500 students in person, we still had about 400 students viewing live. We advertised and promoted it just as heavy as we would the in-person event. We said, you know, get your best quarantine fort. We want your PJs, your popcorn, and we're all going to watch this 30-minute video together. And so we were still able to celebrate and honor our students. One of the coolest things is all of our award winners, they were freezing their screen, taking pictures in front of their TV and putting it all over social media. They were putting it on LinkedIn. So you could tell it really meant something to them. You know, typically we could have just canceled the event and said, sorry, it's not happening this year. But there were so many students who were honored and recognized through this event. And so we wanted to make sure we continued to host that. And we used YouTube to do that. For those that weren't recipients, we still wanted them engaged and excited throughout the event. So we had trivia questions, we had social media contests throughout, and we had a team of students engaging in comments throughout the entire 30-minute episode. That way, students could really engage and feel like they were there in person. And this also helped us launch our own YouTube page for the Honors College. What we did after this, we had a bunch of events hosted by our staff. So we had Making the Music with Dennis, our program manager, who is actually in a band and performs worship every weekend. So he did a Making the Music episode. We had Cooking with Kat, because she is just a culinary genius. I don't have any other talents outside of Disney trivia. So me and my 3-year-old hosted some Disney trivia for the students, but it was just ways to keep them engaged and just kind of shake the anxiousness and uncertainty of what COVID was kind of putting on all of our plates. And it allowed them to still feel connected to us and campus and what we had going on.
Wow, thank you, Brianna. And I tell you what, and folks, just so you know, this YouTube channel will be available to you. It's all in the show notes when this webinar is uploaded to our YouTube channel. So please don't despair. It was a 34-minute video. We weren't going to have time to show that today, but it's pretty amazing. So thank you so much, Brianna. If you guys have questions for Brianna, she's going to stick around for our Q&A session at the end of our webinar today. So please definitely stick around and ask some questions. If you think of them, pop them in the chat. We're going to move on from here. But Brianna, thank you so much. And I know that you have a link to the Honors College if y'all want a little bit more information about that. And as I said before, Brianna will stick around. And as a parent of a college student who, yeah, she's an honors student, I have to tell you, thank you, because now granted she's a freshman, so she wasn't a senior, but if she was a senior, I would really have been devastated. And for y'all to do exactly what you just said, it's not about what you can't do, it's what you can do. Thank you. From a parent's perspective, I thank you.
Thank you.
Boy, are we excited. Holy cow. Thank you so much, Brianna. And like I said, thanks for sticking around for us afterwards for any questions. The next guest I talked about earlier is Shonda Hinton, and she's an organizer extraordinaire, and I want you all to hear a little bit of her story. So I'm going to stop share here. I'm going to highlight Shonda's video, and she's going to tell us a little bit about her experience with a digital celebration from a family perspective, right? You were this particular celebration. You're going to tell us about what it's like to be on the other end, as I was just saying, as a parent. Is that right? Okay, go tell us a little bit more, Shonda.
Actually, our family, we just kind of experienced kind of a once-in-a-lifetime event. This is something that my son has worked for, almost his whole life. He's only 22, but he's been working at this almost his whole life. And so this event had to be pushed to virtual, but it was still amazing. And I'm so thankful to have been able to exercise that option.
Fantastic. Okay, well, thank you for sharing that with us. I'm going to go back to share my screen. And as I do that, I'm going to share my computer sound with you all. Let's give it a little go, see what happened in Shonda's life.
In the 2020 NFL Draft, the Minnesota Vikings select. About to be a Viking.
The Minnesota Vikings made Kyle Hinton's dream a reality yesterday, but the journey is just getting underway.
So if you didn't hear that loud and clear, Shonda's son is now a Minnesota Viking. You can see it by her background. And if you didn't experience that live, I mean, I don't know. What was it like experiencing something like that? I mean, the NFL draft, the first time ever they've done it remotely. What was that like, Shonda?
It actually was an amazing experience. I feel like we were there. We were watching as he got every agonizing call that was not the Vikings.
Oh boy.
Yeah, yes. So it was like we were all right there. It got down to he was in the 7th round, like 3 from the bottom. I mean, it was just intense. You could hear a pin drop every time he got a call. And we didn't know how it was going to turn out. It looked like it was going south. And then finally it came in and you saw the reaction, like everyone was cheering and clapping, and it was just a phenomenal event. And we just felt wonderful.
I'm telling you, I still have chills. Like when I have goosebumps, I have chills. I mean, and it's already a done deal. He is a Viking. So congratulations on that. Tell us a little bit more about the experience.
Okay. Well, as you can see on the left, there are some people that were cheering very loudly for him. My sister's up there with her hand to her face. She was crying, and she wasn't the only one. She just was the only one on camera. And then even Grandma is over there on the right. She was so thrilled. And then we have an aunt and an uncle. We've got Kyle in the middle. And on the bottom left is Susan. Now, Susan is Kyle's roommate's girlfriend's mother, who has essentially adopted him for the past 3 years. He's in Kansas, and she's been mothering him. And I'm thinking, you know, in a face-to-face world, if he had been home for this draft, she wouldn't have been a part. But with this digital application, we were able to literally get everyone in. I mean, there were his old coaches, teachers, Sunday school teachers. I mean, there were so many people that just genuinely wanted to support him, and they were all able to be a part. So it was fabulous. And then on the right-hand side is my fave. So Kyle, I don't know how he ever played football. He is the biggest, gentle giant ever, but he loves kids. And I just saw, they had this photo, and he's always loved kids. And I saw this, and he reached out to, you know, shake this little boy's hand. And I'm like, my little boy's still in there. His exterior looks a lot different, but his heart is still the same.
Oh, that is, and again, and now I'm crying. You guys, I've gone from like chills and laughter to crying. Oh, tell me a little bit about the successes and challenges, Shonda. I know this is oh no, this is actually something different. I'm so excited. Guys, this is what digital celebration does to Corey. Go ahead, Marnie. Were you about
I just
to say
have a quick question. I'm not sure if it was clear. So Shonda, were all those family members at your house, and those are just pictures you took of them while you were at the party together?
Oh, no. They were all on Zoom. Everyone, my sister was in Georgia, Susan's in Kansas, aunt and uncles are in Illinois, grandma's in Sun City. I mean, we're all socially distanced and separated. So being able to connect everyone and share in that experience, and we all have the memory, you can't put a price on it.
Yeah, so you were able to do that in a Zoom meeting all at the same time, so you experienced together. I love it. Thank you.
All at the same time, yes. Mm-hmm.
So you can't take the celebration out of the people is what I'm hearing.
Exactly.
Speaking of celebration, not only does Shonda have a story about the NFL draft, because, you know, we all have that, right? No, she also puts together graduation ceremonies for her niece. Holy bejeebies. Talk to us about the college graduation that you recently put together for your niece in a digital celebration.
Yes, so my niece Marissa was supposed to graduate, and I was supposed to be there in Illinois on May 8th. She was going to walk the stage. She's first gen. She's already secured herself a graduate fellowship, and you know, to not do anything for her actual graduation just wasn't an option. So we got together. I sent out an email to the family members, asked them if they'd be willing to participate, and they're like, yes. So I just asked them to wear red and white, which are her school colors. As you can see in mine, I have the Illinois State flag in my background. So that's one of the things that was a challenge. I think that I wish that I had had everyone have a background. But I had to work with her grandmother, who was down there next to her, to be able to make sure that she could actually utilize Zoom. So I did that for about 2 days prior. And so when she came in, there was a waiting room. We decorated the waiting room and said, this is Marissa's graduation party. And I held her in there until everyone else kind of showed up. And then we played Pomp and Circumstance before she entered, and we were all just clapping. And so then we just took a moment and everyone muted, and each person got to go around and say a few words about her encouragement or share a funny story. And so it was so personal. And I just asked her to wear her cap and gown, but I didn't tell her anything else. And another very important part is that in the chat box, I was able to put in there her handles for Venmo, Zelle, PayPal, everything, so that people could also give her a graduation gift as well.
Oh my gosh. So I'm just typing in the chat box my Venmo and my Zelle account. Oh, you mean
No. Doesn't
Okay,
work for you.
Shonda's keeping me real. All right. What a great idea though. I mean, because as an auntie from a faraway state, I do want to give money, but let's be honest, kids today, it's all about Zelle. It's all about Venmo. And then you're done. You've given them money. They're like, oh my gosh, I love Aunt Corey. And they can say it right there on the screen. And I go, yep, number one.
Exactly.
I'm lucky. Yeah. That's so fabulous.
Nice. Yes.
Shonda, I have a question. It must have been challenging to get Pomp and Circumstance in the Zoom background. How did you do that?
Well, let me just show you. It's pretty simple. Echo, play Pomp and Circumstance.
Here's Pomp and Circumstance by Edward Elgar on Amazon Music.
Just put that in the background.
You are kidding me. Stop the traffic right now. Whatever. You try to say you're not techie. That's techie as our techie gets. People, okay, Shonda Hinton just totally silenced Corey, and that is not an easy thing to do. Wow. Play Pomp and Circumstance. You're too much. Oh my gosh. Look at that. Shonda, you're amazing. You are crazy amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. Oh my goodness. For questions for Shonda, questions for Brianna, please pop them in the chat. I mean, to tell you what, she just totally stops me in my tracks. Echo. Like, I was over there trying to, figure out how to do that in a slide, right? Okay, I'm going to add the audio to the slide. Is that Google Slides? No, wait a minute. That's PowerPoint. Echo. Darn amazing. Okay, well, people, I hope that you've gotten a few. Go ahead, Carolyn. Did you have a little something to say?
I wanted to jump in, Shonda. I know that you said that you sort of prepped some of your less digitally savvy family members to get them on. Do you have any hints? Did something work well? Because I have a few of those in my family as well.
Oh, yeah, just kind of you're virtually holding their hand, like clicking every little thing. You got to say, click here, point here, put your mouse there, adjust your screen so you're not just, looking up your nose, things like that. And so it was just kind of going through it slowly and so that they don't feel rushed or frustrated, because that can happen, and then no one gets anywhere. So I think that was the only thing, was taking it super slow and individual.
Good to know. So that's something that I definitely want to plan ahead of time for and not try to do all on the same day.
Yes, absolutely.
I like how you say less digitally savvy. That's a really nice way of saying, Nana, you're not cutting it in the technology world, okay? That's awesome. Thanks, Carolyn. Really good point. So plan ahead. I bet Brianna had to plan ahead too, with all those parents and whatnot. A little bit of planning ahead. Or give it to your students. Have them teach. Maybe your children can teach grandma how to do it, and they might have a little less more patience. Sorry, more patience. Wow. So digital celebrations, folks, there are all kinds. Obviously, we've talked about Zoom today, but if you have Google Meet, same ideas apply. There's Facebook Live, there's WebEx, YouTube Live, all kinds of, you could actually hire a professional video production company. There's holographic technology. That's pretty intense. I think Gilbert High School, or Marnie had mentioned something about the holographic technology. So that seems interesting. Marnie, would you talk a little bit about that?
Well, I don't know too many details, but I do know that Gilbert High School is asking each graduate to be dropped off, and they're going to film them going across the stage, and then they're going to stitch it all together and create a holographic audience and have a video that each of the graduates can have that will appear as if they were all there. So awesome.
That is very cool. You've got hashtags, social media. Oh, I love this, the Animal Crossing. Those of you who are familiar with Animal Crossing, this has been kind of an underground, kind of cultish hit among students.
Yeah. I can't clap my hands, so I'm aggressively banging against my chest.
So this is actually an Animal Crossing that GCU grads created to celebrate, and I think that's Brian Mueller there, the big bird in the back there, which I thought was kind of fun. In addition to that, there is, hang on a second, I'm going to grab another link for you here. These are just ideas, 9 virtual drive-by ideas for graduation. So you've got planning a watch party for your son or daughter, or buy your grad a custom stole, or tune in for the LeBron James special, make it a family event. So check those out as well. I've given you those links in the slideshow. So go have fun checking it out. Also, Instagram stories and TikTok, I don't know about you, but this is the language they speak, as I had said earlier in the chat. That's I think kids are really excited when they can transfer their live experience over to social media. So a lot of fun there. I hope that today you've learned a little bit about celebration online, why it matters, and maybe some strategies for virtual symposiums, asynchronous and synchronous digital celebrations. Don't forget to evaluate the webinar. We're going to move in towards our closing prayer. Before we do that, I want you to remember that we're here to empower, educate, and inspire you, our community, so that you take action and fulfill your purpose to serve others. So please don't forget to share what you've learned with someone else, and be brave enough to share it with someone that you don't know. As we move towards our ending prayer here, I wanted to let you know that we have some dates available. But before we do that, we've got a toolbox reminder there. I think we need a tool master.
Yeah, we do, Maxie. So now's your time, while Corey speaks a little bit here at the end, to pop that list in the chat box.
So pop that list in. While you're doing that, Maxie, I'm going to let everybody know that on May 20th, we're having a webinar called Meet Them Where They Are. We are so fortunate to bring to you Dr. Jen Santos. She will be with us next week, May 20th, to talk to you a little bit about how she absolutely met her students right where they were. And by the way, she's a professor of English at GCU in our College of Humanities and Social Science. So you don't want to miss that. Also, May 27th, we're going to talk about blended learning. Let's be honest, we're moving into blended learning. Whether you like it or not, here we are. If we do go back in person, I guarantee you we're going to have some elements of blended learning. So please join us for May 27th. June 3rd will be based on your feedback. And then we also have a very exciting co-webinar, kind of co-hosted webinar called Building a STEM Identity Through Equity, Early College Access, and the T in STEM. So mark your calendar for June 4th, and we'll get you information about that as well. What do we have, Maxie? Are we there? She's thinking. See, she's got so many tools that she just is like, wow, we got so many tools. I'm still collecting them. So as we wait for Maxie here, Carolyn, talk to me about one of your takeaways that you thought was like a bim bam boom, because that's a good word, right? Bim bam boom.
Well, you know, it's so funny. I was just typing in the chat because I am sitting here thinking I need to find a reason to have a virtual celebration.
Do you need to find a reason, right? It's 5 o'clock somewhere, as they say.
I had so many takeaways. One of my takeaways, let's see, I really like including some of the social media competitions, doing things like that. I also love the personalized virtual backgrounds. So many ideas that you could do with that. I think that's wonderful. And then in the one article you shared, I loved the drive-by celebrations. One thing that came to mind was my daughter is in sports med, and they're having a virtual celebration They usually have an end of the year type thing, and they're doing it via YouTube, but then they have a time where all the sports med kiddos are doing a drive-by of their house where they're going to have balloons and stuff out, social distancing, but then they're going to get their swag. They're just going to hand it in the car. And there's like a 2-hour time frame when they can come to get that. So creative.
So creative. And by the way, the virtual backgrounds, there's a tip of the day on YouTube on the YouTube channel about how to create those. So if you guys don't know how that yet, and thank you, Carolyn, for sharing. And I don't know if you've looked at the chat, but are you freaking out? Like, Maxie, you took this whoosh, above and beyond. See, my hand doesn't even fit on the screen. That's how far up you took this.
I just unmuted myself, Corey.
Yes, please do. Talk to us, Maxie.
The postings are in multiple posts, and there are scroll downs because there's so much. You have to scroll down, up and down to get it all.
I'm telling you, I'm scrolling and it keeps going and going. Maxie, you are hired. What are you doing next week? You tool mastering?
Right. I'm ready to come on board. you guys are my
fabulous. Heroes. Right back at you, Maxie. You are our hero. I don't know if I could ever do a toolbox to that degree. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Marnie, did you want to say something? Okay, she's just shaking her head. I love it. We are blessed. Thank you. A super woo-woo up. Just saying thank you, Maxie. And if you didn't get all of those, all that information, boy, just copy and paste right there. And where's the PBL? Marnie, I forgot. Thank you for reminding me. See, this is Marnie. She's like, that's my my notes, right? Where is the PBL? We kept saying we would bring you PBL, project-based learning. Marnie, tell these people, why are we not bringing them PBL quite yet?
Well, I think just like the rest of you, we're just trying to make it through this school year, right? We're a little bit in survival mode, and we need tools we can use today. And PBL is not just make and take today. You need a little prep work on that. So we didn't want to start loading up project-based learning right now, and thought you would be better served if we wait till the summer and you're starting to think to the fall. And we want to think about how we can do project-based learning in a blended environment, whether you're in person or digital. So it is coming, but we just thought the timing would be better a little bit later. Thank you.
Thanks, Marnie. Yeah, really good point. So you will get it. It's just not here quite yet. So this is going to conclude our content base. We have a few minutes left, and we're going to stay just a couple minutes over in case you have questions. But this webinar is at the evaluation is at bit.ly/CanyonPD webinar. The link is in the chat. It's called Digital Celebration. So please, please, please fill that out and give us your feedback as regards to what you would like to hear more of next time. And with that, I'm going to try to slow down a bit. And I'm going to ask Carol if she wouldn't mind popping on and taking us through our prayer. Thank you for being with us, all of you. And we're really excited to just pray with you today, pray us out, and continue our Q&A session. So, Carol?
Yeah, so our verse today is, "This is the day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it." And as I've sat through this webinar, I've thought of so many other things that I am just rejoicing. One is just to see the number of you that come back week after week. I feel like I am building this whole group of friends that I look forward to seeing every Wednesday. So thank you for coming back every Wednesday, and invite your friends to come and join us next week. We'd love to even have a bigger group. But if you just take a moment and join me in prayer, and we'll just kind of slow things down, as Corey said a little bit. So, Father, today we choose to rejoice in you. Thank you for this day and for every opportunity that you give us to praise you and to be a blessing to others. Right now, we pray for students of all ages as they participate in their online classes. They wonder about their school year, and then they prepare for finals and graduations. We ask that you bring them comfort through the knowledge of your presence and your everlasting love. We know that your loving hand will also guide all of these educators as they prepare for innovative ways to celebrate the accomplishments of students and teachers in this time of uncertainty. Father, we ask you please to be present with them as a guide to their planning efforts. Surround them with your spirit so they find comfort and courage in you. May the love of God and the spirit of truth dwell within us and prevail in our daily lives. Through this knowledge and inspiration, we always feel encouraged to follow you, your ways, and to exemplify your love, your truth, your mercy, and your service. For indeed, this is the day that the Lord has made, and we will rejoice and be glad in it. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Absolutely beautiful. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Carol, for blessing us with such an amazing prayer. For a celebration, for a celebration. Thanks all of you for being a part of our prayer, of our content, of our delivery, of our webinar today. You make this happen. We wouldn't be here by ourselves. The facilitation is just that. We learn so much from you every week. So please come on back and invite somebody that you would like to hang out with as well next Wednesday. If you're interested in customized professional development, please contact Carol and or canyonprofdev@gcu.edu. Follow us on social media and our YouTube channel. And our webinar recordings are there at the YouTube channel. And join us next week for Meet Them Where They Are. We are still here online, question time.